Well, this is a really interesting and exciting moment for me because we're doing a repeat run, totally different answers, I hope, to where we were when the three of us, 2 years ago, did a little interview which is regarded as one of the most popular and interesting. It's a little bit raw because we're all a bit emotional about different troubles we had in our businesses as well as the good things and things that we're doing. And we thought it might be interesting to sort of just have a little look back on what we think we've achieved in the last 2 years and what's changed and what we're looking forward to, and just have a little catch up for a quarter of an hour. So I'd like to introduce Michelle Dorrell, and you see Michelle as well with her business Shell's Design and Nails is involved now with the Labour Party. We can say that. I'm a member of the Labour Party, so I don't mind saying that. And with Momentum as well. And Shell's Design and Nails is still continuing. That's great.
It is.
And Julia has been I followed her jewellery business because I never understood the IT.
Most people don't.
I do follow it, but it doesn't make any sense to me at all. So you've still got both businesses, correct? And but these wonderful gemstones, and Julia's been involved in our Makers and Creators session, haven't you? Which went well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where I'd like to start with. January is our kick-off date for a new year and getting new things. So let's start with a real positive. What would you like to achieve in your personal life, in your businesses, if you like, looking forward to 2018? Do you want to go first?
Okay. I mean, obviously, and I know it sounds quite glib, but 2008, I'm looking at world domination. Go big, go home. And although it sounds quite glib, this year I'm actually taking part in the British Craft Trade Fair in Harrogate in April. Exactly. So when I make that statement, I'm not really being facetious, or the plan is kind of like there. And I'm really excited about it because obviously currently all my jewellery is being sold either through the website or it's being sold through craft fairs and things like that. But it's kind of like business to consumer. With this trade fair, obviously it's business to business, and it's a case of it's national businesses, potentially even international businesses. So there's an opportunity to get jewellery on the wider scale of things. So.
Well, that's really big. Well, that's fantastic.
Now, that's.
Okay. Well, I should have asked you. It must be really expensive to do that, isn't it? That's a big step, isn't it?
Well, it's a big step, but jewellery turns 5 in July this year. All in all, it's cost me about £2,000, but it's worth the investment.
And it's a new, as you say, it's B2B this, so it's a new distribution
channel.
If you can crack this,
Absolutely, and it's a case of I'm using a local guy to do my display, so it's all wood, it's all natural. So again, I'm promoting him, and I'm enjoying the challenge, because obviously when I was offered the place, I just thought, it's just another craft fair, blah blah blah. How hard can it be? And now I'm having to think, I've got 2.5 meters by 1 meter to come out display, and then I'm having to come up with a collection as well, what those collections are going to be and how I'm going to display it and how I'm going to get everything from Liverpool up to Harrogate. Yeah. So working with this guy, we've kind of designed a table that I can literally put together in 4 minutes and then break it down in 4 minutes and then shells, so yeah, it's a different avenue, and it's different kind of like opportunities, but also challenges as well.
Okay, fantastic.
Well, I really can't top Julia, because obviously nail fairs, they're not a big thing. For me, 2018 I think might be big in a different way. 2018 might be a year where, hopefully, fingers crossed, working class voices get recognition again on centre stage politics. I've become highly involved in the Labour Party with Momentum. I'm also Unite Trade Unionist, and I am looking to possibly try and see if I could become a potential parliamentary candidate.
Ooh, look at you!
Because I've had enough. Enough is enough with every day the normal people that are the backbone of this country that keeps it going, keeps it running. We're being ignored.
Yeah.
We're not being listened to. You have those at the top. It's a big boy club. It's the revolving door between big business and government. And we need real, genuine voices once again, because otherwise, well, you don't want to see where it's going to go if it just carries on this way. And I'm going for it. I've got the courage of my convictions, and I'm just going to go for it and see where it leads me.
Well, I think that's great. I mean, I think the other thing that's nice about both of you is that you both always, I mean, social media is very important to this kind of day and things, but you're both totally straight, totally honest, and you say exactly what you feel, and neither of you are scared to put your head above the parapet and, you know, go through. So whatever you want to...
I am always scared, but still do it.
Yeah, you feel the fear and do it anyway.
You use that adrenaline and you use it as your fight.
But it's fright or fight or flight or whatever you fight, you know.
Yeah, use it to fight.
At the end of the day, you know, it's an uncomfortable thing to do, but I admire both of you for doing that, and I think it's great. We need lots of people to do that, and that we really would have the power of plenty if a lot of people actually express the same view, especially, I mean, just the simple issue which you mentioned, which is equality. I mean, you know, it's almost the country is sacrificing equality, and that's actually sacrificing humane behaviour to each other, because, you know, if you can't start off with equality, then how can you treat each other?
Absolutely. I mean, it always worries me, and I'm sure it must worry the government unless they're being pretty stupid, that when you think about it, you've got 1,000 people trying to control 62 million people.
Yes.
You know, when you think of those numbers, you know, me personally, if I was an MP, I'd be slightly worried, you know, because you can only push people so far. And when people have got nothing to lose, that's when things get a little bit dicey. So, you know, I mean, for me, it's a case of, I'm not political, because it's a case of that, you know, I'm not one of I'm an outsider. I've always been an outsider, and I know to be political, I would have to conform. I don't like conforming. Hence the reason why I run my own businesses. But I always work at the ground level. You know, I work on a one-to-one basis, either through my mentoring through the Princess Trust or through the Arsene Collective, which I run to help other people that are starting up their own handmade businesses. And that's where I'm kind of thinking, this is where the sustainability has got to come. You know, more apart from like the big things like my energy and like my telecoms, all the other things that I buy from small suppliers. I mean, even what I'm wearing, most of it, apart from my boots and my shirt, everything else is handmade by somebody. You know, so it's a case, it's keeping it in the community, it's keeping the economy in the community. You know, and I know that these people like me pay their taxes. So
absolutely.
You know, so I don't use Starbucks, I don't use, you know, Amazon, I don't use eBay or any company that doesn't pay tax. Because like, why am I giving you my hard-earned taxes? And you don't want to play the same game.
Just hide it in an offshore account.
Absolutely, absolutely, you know. And why they're hiding in these offshore accounts, that's why the NHS is in the state, you know. I mean,
education's falling through the floor.
Exactly.
Prison service, law and order, everything.
Well, it's law and disorder. Because the amount of chaos that you see, you know, and what these leaders don't understand is that if you don't lead properly from the top, then how do you expect people at the bottom to follow you and behave themselves?
Exactly.
You know, so this is the reason why, you know, when I'm seeing things going on, I said that's because what our leaders are showing them.
Exactly. You know? Absolutely. And also the biggest problem I find with politics today is you've got factory politicians. They're cut from the same cloth. They're coming from the same sort of places, you know, that with vested interest, and they're working with people who, as I said, that revolving door between big business and government. And they forget the most simple things. When they're coming up with a policy, do they ever think about the consequences of what that policy will be? Of course they don't, because they're not with the people who it will affect. They're not going to be with people that are struggling in A&Es or dying in corridors with what's happening right now. Because in most cases, they've got private healthcare that they're also pushing the agenda of when you consider Virgin Healthcare. 484 million just in health and social care they've bought up from the NHS last year. So it's just a continuation of they're going down that road, not even thinking about the impacts it has on the majority, the 99% of the country, and they're just full steam ahead.
I think coming to micro business owners as well, the fact is that there are so many other countries, and this has always saddened me, there are so many other countries that I suppose they start from an E.F. Schumacher kind of view, small is beautiful, who said like in the 70s that, I mean just little things that people forget that have never read it, like say nuclear power kind of thing. In 1970s he was saying, because he says everything is small is beautiful, he was saying that humans actually only need a small amount of heat to survive. So why do we create like nuclear energy and various things like that, which can only be delivered by large, massive corporations sucking the life out of it. I mean, it's very simple but understandable. So therefore, even though he didn't know about things like wind power and you being able to create your own energy then, as much then, you know, he did know by looking at even African communities, how they actually lived to very long ages, you know, were able to feed themselves, live happily, run their own businesses. Do you know what I mean? Because you can have an ecosystem of us all being self-employed. You know, if we actually don't give in to these large corporations ruling our lives.
But then, you know, it makes me, you know, it drives me bonkers when people come out turn around and say, well, I go to Amazon because it's cheaper. You know, well, you can't have everything. You've got to make a decision.
You have to have ethics in what
you're buying. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't shop a lot. I hate shopping, believe it or not. You know, but the things that I buy good quality, and I source them from local, independent.
Because as you know, it's going into the economy,
Exactly.
and it's staying in the economy,
Absolutely.
and it's going where it needs to go.
Absolutely. You know, and what people don't realise is that all that money that Amazon, I mean, I read that, you know, this guy is now a trillionaire, and I'm just like thinking, you're one guy. How many millions do you need to have before you're happy?
Exactly.
You know, you're only going to sleep in one bed, you're only going to drive one car, you're only going to do whatever in whatever. you know, at what point do you say, you know what, I'm happy? You know, it's this whole greed thing.
Yeah, pursuit of wealth, right?
And it's greed.
And as you said before, if that's what's coming from the top, it's only going to filter down to the bottom. So if you've got greed in all of your leaders at the top, they're power hungry, they're pushing over and they don't care who they're treading on to get there, what do you expect is going to filter down to society? It's that same ethos will go down.
Exactly.
And social cohesion just goes out from
Well, there's never been social cohesion, you know, and it makes me laugh because like we're in the 21st century, and I think personally, as a human race, we're devolving, because in the 21st century, we shouldn't have people sleeping on the street. We shouldn't have people begging on the street. You know, when you've got people that got solid gold baths, why would you need a solid gold bath? You know?
And we shouldn't have a media that won't cover it. Isn't that the kind of worst thing? That's really 1984 stuff, isn't it? Because it's really saying that, you know, they're trying to control the
Good luck with that.
You know, it's just, I mean, it's...
But those that hold power do everything they can to retain their power. And that's what the whole, unfortunately, with the the mass media, a lot of them, they're all in the same cliche.
Absolutely. But
they're all in it together.
But the problem with power is an illusion, because you can only have power over somebody if they've got something that you want. If you've got nothing I want, you've got no control over me whatsoever, so you've got no power over me. So power is an illusion. You know, and that's what people, don't realise, because if we all decided one day, you know what, we don't like what Virgin is doing, and we boycotted every single service of Virgin wouldn't exist tomorrow.
No, we should.
No,
that would
exactly.
be the power of plenty.
That's the power.
We've got to do that eventually.
And this whole like payment in 30 days, all this whole tax thing. If every single person who's self-employed decided not to pay tax until legal and
the big boys pay their bills all the time.
That's not a single thing the government can do. Because what they're going to do? Imprison us all? That would be interesting.
I think they've got enough problems.
I think it's a really important point. I think, but what would you say to people? I know there are less jobs. There are going to be less jobs. Whatever you say, whatever government say that they're going to create more jobs, they can't create more jobs, and the jobs that they're creating at the moment really are terrible.
Low minimum wage that you can't live on.
So they're absolutely awful, aren't they? And I mean the Amazons of this world are expected to grow by 150 billion in the next year.
So
there's the speed of their growth, if you like, speed of Uber's growth, if you like, is absolutely colossal.
It's not sustainable, because Amazon can grow as long as it's got customers, but if you're not paying people and people haven't got money, how are they going to spend the money?
Exactly. I mean, look what's happened lately. You've had all the figures come out of the big businesses who have said that their sales have slumped over the Christmas period. Well, what do you expect when those that are producing the goods can't afford to buy it back?
Exactly.
So that's now you're stuck in that situation. You're not paying them enough, so they can buy the produce, which would keep their business going.
Exactly. I mean, you should be paying your employees enough so that they could be potential customers. I mean, it horrified me when I was reading about people in China that are making iPads, that are selling their kidney to buy an iPad. You're just kind of like thinking, why are you paying them? Because they are potentially your customer, because they are the product that people are supposed to be seen with, but they can't even afford to buy it, and they're making it. There's something wrong with your business model. It's not a sustainable business model. And, bringing in robots to take over people's jobs. So when those people lose their jobs, how are they going to buy your products? It's very, very short-sighted. And I don't understand. I didn't do economics. I did science. But I can't understand how these big brains that we've got and all these experts can't work out the simple common sense thing.
Or if they can, they're just interested in short-term gain.
Well, short-term gain is short-term, There's no gain.
Exactly. Eventually grind to a halt.
Exactly.
One of the, I can't answer part of it, because one of the points is that they actually only deal in money. They're not interested in customers. Because you actually get to a certain size, and it's the money you make on the money markets overnight that makes more money than the actual business of the customers. So Amazon never, I don't think ever in the early days wasn't really making a profit, wasn't looking to, but it was actually circulating money very, very fast, which gave the shareholders were stuffing money in it, because they could actually see what the Amazon business model is, because now that everybody's paying through Alexa, if you like, in America, through talking to it, if you like, it's got your PayPal account on it, so seriously, what you're actually taking is they're taking money. Yeah, and they're putting that money on stock markets and investing in properties. It's gambling. So it's legalised. So what they're actually doing is they're not as interested with the right. We've got 2 minutes, and I've got a couple of questions, Shirley.
Okay.
One is I'll go to Jules first, and then to you, Michelle.
It's been a long day.
There's a whole generation coming up that are going to have to be probably self-employed in some kind of way to make ends meet, because or they're going to say one of these crap jobs, because although you're going to change the world, both of you, you aren't going to change it as fast as is going to affect So what would you say to younger people that have to go into self-employment as the way that they're going to be able to kind of like make ends meet in the future? What's their kind of mindset going to have to be to actually do that? Because they are going to have to do it. You know, I've just done a little interview with those two young kids who, you know, doing that, you know, sell 50 quid's worth of bottles, if you like. If one's very, very young, and, you know, it's absolutely great. And yeah, I'm absolutely certain that that's what they'll do. You know, they'll probably run a business. So what would be your advice to how people can make ends meet out of self-employment? You've shown you can do it. Eventually, you know, it's hard. But eventually you got there, like 2 years on, you've made some profit in your business. How do you do it? What would be your advice to them?
I think it's a case you need to find what is causing people pain and be the aspirin or the paracetamol for that. I mean, it's a case of, I'm cash rich but time poor. I hate cleaning. I hate housework. You know, so it doesn't have to be a high-tech business. All you just need to do is find things that people either don't want to do, haven't got the time to do, or, you know, find that pain and be the solution for that.
Great, lovely.
Find something you love. Find something you love that you have passion for and that really gets you going. That's the one thing I'd definitely say, because if you're not liking what you're doing, if you're finding it a grind, it's only going to drag you down with it. So go with something that gets you going and follow it. And even if it's hard, even if you're struggling, because unfortunately life is hard. And you've got to push past that barrier. Don't be scared. As you said before, use that adrenaline to fight. Don't go for flight.
Oh, that's great. And my last question is a pretty obvious one, but 2 years on, what do you think of Microbusiness Matters today now?
Absolutely brilliant. Just the same as it was before. It's grown bigger, larger, bigger reach, and long may it continue.
Thank you. We're number one on Twitter as well.
Cool.
All right.
Yay. I actually think it's better this year. I think the buzz is better. You know, I've met quite a lot of really interesting people. I like the fact it's networking both virtually and face to face, you know, and it's a case of what really surprised me, even though in previous years it's been in London, it's Manchester this year, is that people have been willing to travel for, you know, absolutely.
From Folkestone to Manchester.
Liverpool! So maybe next year you can do it in Liverpool.
We're in Hull next year, and Liverpool can make a bid.
Absolutely.
I'd just like to thank Michelle and June and Brianne for, it's fantastic, we really enjoyed it, and it's great to see you both 2 years on doing this.
We'll do it again in 2 years.